Well, there's been no doubt about the man of the match in our particular case here against Kazakhstan, and that was Doyle. But, gentlemen, that was an awful Irish performance. Richie, would you go along with my view?
Ronnie said there at the end of the commentary, the important thing here is not to get hoodwinked by the result. I'm just talking here to Liam. Remember San Marino away?
Yeah.
Under Steve Staunton, we need an injury time goal to win the game. Staunton came out and said, we got the result. We came for a win and we got it. Remember how utterly ridiculous that argument was? And I think...
And you're saying tonight
we
is
need to forget the result. We beat Kazakhstan, the 142nd best team in the world. Let's not dare celebrate that. And it took us the last 3 minutes to get the goal. And we'd never looked like scoring up until that point. The performance was as poor as we've seen. The instructions from the manager, if they were instructions from the manager, were very limited. Just hoof it forward. The whole performance from start to finish just seemed disjointed. The decisions he made, the substitutions he made, we talked about the team lineup at the start. It's baffling, the performance of the manager tonight. I think he's been getting away with it, my own view, for a long time.
And what are you suggesting? He shouldn't get away with it anymore?
I think we'll talk about the performance tonight. We can talk about the result, and it was a little bit embarrassing. We've got 3 points, so we can focus on the positives. It's now up to, in my view, this conversation needs to move on to John Delaney, get his board together. What does it cost to get rid of Trapattoni? Have the conversation and get rid of it.
All right, take that up now, gentlemen. John?
No, I wouldn't agree with it at the moment.
Why?
Bill, because...
But you were talking about caveman football now at half-time.
Hang on. Got 3 points. You're going on to the next match. It's 3 points. I know we were lucky. I thought it was a terrible performance, but it's 3 points to get on for the next game. And we were lucky to get away. I thought it was a dreadful performance, Bill, but it's a win. And you wouldn't have put bad money 10 minutes from the end that the Irish team were going to win. The fact is they got the 3 points, which leads us into the German match, and I wouldn't be optimistic about that, but you never know what's going to happen. So it is a win. I mean, from the Irish point of view, you're better having a win there playing the way we played than playing reasonably well and not getting a win. Now, it doesn't augur well for the future. I thought some of the things that the manager did in the game, I mean, they only really did come to life when Doyle was on the pitch, when Long was on the pitch. We had 3 players, Bill, playing on the wing, Cox, Walters and somebody else in place of a winger.
Correct.
You know, now that was a lucky win from the manager. And I'd agree with Richie. I wouldn't put any credit. I wouldn't give the credit.
You wouldn't be celebrating this.
I wouldn't be celebrating Trapattoni's performance in the win, Bill. But from the Irish point of view and from the team's point of view, it's an invaluable 3 points in this tournament. We don't win today. We got beaten today, Bill. We were out of it altogether.
Yeah, but we were awful, though. Liam, take up Richie's point. Do you agree or disagree?
No, I totally disagree.
You think we'll qualify with him in charge?
Do you think we'll qualify with anyone in charge?
With absolutely no way will we even finish.
Well, do you think we'd qualify with anyone in charge?
So you're accepting that this team is so limited, keep them there because no one else can do any better?
No, I'm not accepting that.
So what's...
I'm saying, well, you didn't give me a chance to answer Bill's question, did you? So just wait a second. Trapattoni's got 3 points. They're often to a winning start, okay? He qualified for the Euros. You said he's been getting away with it for so long, but he qualified for the Euros. He's a manager of immense experience, has won everywhere. You want to change him because of a bad performance in Kazakhstan?
How about Liam, with respect, it's a bad performance
not a bad
all through the Europeans as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a bad. Yeah, we had a bad Euros. Tonight was doom and gloom.
Yeah,
it was very, very poor. But you're talking about changing the manager.
Yeah.
That performance was worse.
Well, you're asking me the question.
Yeah,
I would disagree with that.
Yeah, fine.
What needs to happen now is the players need to get together with the manager and say we need to change the way we play. And that has to happen.
But surely that's the manager's job, not the players.
That's never happened before.
You think the manager is not at fault here. The responsibility now lies on the players to get to the manager and say, this is how you should do the job.
Well, you look at the situation, Richie. You look at the situation. The guys qualified us for the Euros.
Yeah.
It took a long time for any Irish... Right? So, you think he should lose his job on the back of what? A poor performance in the Euros?
I'd say an awful lot of people would say yes.
I'm asking Richie the question.
Right, okay.
Against two teams that finished in the final.
Said the build-up to the Euros, I said would not assess the Irish team in the finals of the Euros based solely on the results. Because of the quality opposition, the probability is we'd lose the 3 games. Right? And it wouldn't necessarily mean it's a failing of the manager or the players. So going into the Euros, you look at the approach. Can he adapt during matches to change the system, or will he always do the same thing that he's always done? No matter how many times every manager after every game says, they're predictable, we knew what they do. And yes, he did the same thing every single game. Was he willing to make changes in personnel? No. As disastrous as the first 2 games were, he went with the same team in the third. So with our conversation at the start, is he willing to change? Is he open to change? He doesn't even acknowledge there needs to be change.
So the amount of points he got to get into the playoff doesn't matter. Because that's what you're saying.
I think he deserves credit that we finished above Macedonia, above Slovakia, and then we beat Estonia in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I think so. And I think the last year, the fumbling press conferences, the unnecessary fallings out with players, public and private, the way he handled situations, the complete lack of communication. He did the day before Shay Given retired. He said Shay Given's fine. All 4 lads are going to stay here. There's no contact. We can go on and bang on about this for a long time.
But the fact is, Richie, that if he was going to be sacked, he should have been sacked, say, before tonight's game.
Before the Euros.
Now, or after the Euros.
After the Euros, sorry.
The fact is, it was a poor performance tonight, but there's 3 points on the board. I don't think it would be the right time to sack him. He might learn for the next match. He might. I would doubt.
He won't change.
I don't think he will change it.
That's right. We said that.
And I wouldn't be optimistic about the future.
I tell you what.
But
sorry.
it is 3 points. On
okay,
the
but
board.
can I say something to support what Richie is saying? Brian Kerr, writing in the Irish Times today, said, "Trapp has been blinded by qualification and failed to recognise changing tactics and the shapes of better teams." In other words, like, that to qualify was everything, and you get into the final and you have no tactics, or you have no strategy, or you have no way of countering really good teams.
But the strategy that got him there, Bill, got him there. Right?
But it wasn't good enough, though, was it? When it came to the finals.
Well, you're talking in hindsight now that it wasn't any good. I mean, before the European started, there was a certain amount of optimism around, and everybody.
A lot of it was cockeyed optimism.
Well,
John,
it was optimism, Bill. Like whether it was you or me or Eamon or Liam or anybody else, there was a certain amount of optimism, and we must remember, and we mustn't lose sight of it. We were drawn against 2 of the best teams. Maybe 3 of the best teams actually in the competition. Now, I don't think it was a good job. I don't think Trapattoni's been perfect by any means. I think some of the things he did tonight was very, very poor. The selection of the team, for example, and it's only when some of the players that we all felt should have been on Long and Doyle and
but John, can I interrupt you? What you were really saying is that the 3 points justifies everything. That's what you're really saying, isn't it?
I'm not. No, I'm saying it's a win. And do you want to sack him?
Well, it doesn't justify sacking the man.
But does it justify playing caveman football? I'm using your own expressions.
No, but you can change. There was times when we got the ball down and played, and that very, very rarely, but that needs to happen more often, and that's what I mean. The players need to get together with the manager and say, this is the way we want to play. You don't think that can happen?
Not at all.
Why?
It's
happened before.
First of all, should it happen? Again, the onus is on the players to say, boss, there's something screaming at us here. There's something really obvious here.
Yeah.
That asking the central defenders and the fullbacks just to hoof it. There's limits to that.
No, they can say we'd be better off building up from the back and playing out from the back.
But even the premise of that point that you're making is that Trapattoni fails to see it himself. That he needs that to be pointed out.
What Trapattoni's view on things is the way we're playing is going to get us results.
Yeah.
And the lads should be saying to him, we can play better and get better results.
I'm going to cut across this discussion. One final point quickly.
It has been done before where players do have a
I know, I've been in those.
And you've been in those situations. I mean, I played with Don Reevy, who was a great manager, Bill, and there was times we did certain things, but we could say it to him.
But I'm not so sure you can say it this time.
Anyway,
listen,
can I say it?
Well, half the time
a couple of the midfield. Whelan has said, and I can't remember when he said it, he said in an interview, he said, we do what we're told. If we don't do what we're told, we know we won't be in the team.
Yeah. Listen. Yeah. All right, let's change the subject and let's celebrate the goals we got tonight. And we'll start, John, with that great run by Doyle that produced the penalty, that produced the equaliser.
Yeah, well, I think Doyle should have been on the pitch from the start, Bill. Him and Long particularly, and McLean. I think that's the first thing. This is a great run, and Robbie King gets onto it. And one of the few good things actually Robbie Keane did in the match, I thought he was very, very poor tonight. And Roscoff, I think Robbie Keane might have got a hook on the ball, and that's when he was pushed. You see his leg coming back. I think it was a definite penalty.
Definite penalty. Yeah.
And it was good of Robbie Keane to get in there, and a good penalty to finish it off. But Doyle made a huge difference. Him and Long coming onto the pitch, and McLean on the pitch, and Coleman on the pitch. All these different players that can really play. I think that's the difference that we need for the manager to go ahead. Whether he learns from that, or whether he does that, Bill, remains to be seen. But the fact is, they very luckily got 3 points on the board tonight, and if they hadn't got those 3 points, it would be all over anyway for everybody.
All right, let's look now at the winning goal, and that was Doyle again, Liam.
Yeah, an absolute brilliant volley. A short free kick makes the angle better for Glenn Whelan to get the ball in. Stephen Ward nods it down, and Doyle hits that as sweet as you could hope to hit a ball with his left foot. Just catches it full on his laces, and the keeper has got no chance whatsoever. So that was a get out of jail goal, really was.
Well, he came in after 57 minutes. He was the game changer. We're going to hear him now talking to Tony O'Donoghue.
And Ireland's second half substitute Kevin Doyle is the 3 man of the match, and Owen McManus, the commercial director of 3, is here to present him with the award. Congratulations, Kevin, on your performance. What a get out of jail that was.
It was, exactly. You know, we struggled all night. It was very difficult. They played better than that. I thought they were decent, but you know, we should be playing better than that. And you know, but at least we got the win. You know, a good start to the group. Now it could have been very different, but a win's a win.
What was said at half-time, or were you even in the half-time dressing room?
I was, you know, it was a case of, you know, try to get higher up the pitch. We were, you know, very deep, and the manager saying we need to push up higher, and you know, we did that. You know, we dominated the second half. We didn't get too many chances, but at least the ones we got, we took.
When you came on, you made that goal with the run. It was the sort of direct play that we needed. Did you think at that stage we were lucky enough to save a point?
Yeah, we'd have taken a point, definitely, away from home. That stage, 1-0 down. We didn't look like scoring, so you know, it was a pressure penalty, and thankfully Robbie stuck it in the back of the net. You know, and to get the winner was a nice bonus.
What was that like for you?
It's nice, you know. It was a welcome, so I'm delighted. It was you know, nice to score tonight. Nice to get the winner.
I know you're not one to want to make headlines, Kevin, but what does that say to the manager about you now? And are you unhappy at being left out?
No, you know, it's a consequence of me getting relegated last year at Wolves. You know, I can't be expecting to be picked for it when there's 2 or 3 lads playing the Premier League ahead of me every week. That's my own problem, my own fault, and get back playing at the highest level as soon as possible.
That's a very strange comment, John, isn't it?
It's difficult for players, Bill, after a match. You know, you're asking, you know, should you be in the team, should you not be in the team? It's very, very difficult. You know, I mean, if he came out with an answer that he probably believes in, which would be yes, I think I should be in the team, we'd all be saying,
he might be dropped for the next time as well.
Yeah, but what an arrogant so-and-so you'd be saying.
Some players would have no problem coming out and saying, oh, he should be in the team. I would even name the player that they should be in ahead of. Kevin Doyle's not one of them.
Yeah. Liam, he well deserved the man of the match award. He's a really genuine player, isn't he?
Yeah, he's absolutely totally genuine, gives 100%, and he's very good, and it's hard to see. Again, to go back to the manager, it's hard to see where Giovanni's getting his selection from when you've got a player like him and Shane Long, who's playing very well in the Premiership, and Robbie Keane, who's playing in a poor league, having to travel all that way, of a certain age, has been there and done it. It's hard to see why these lads are not starting the match.
Could be much better, Bill.
Robbie should have retired.
Like we set out the programme at the start of the programme saying there's 5 or 6 players who could be in the team, and I think would make make people support Giovanni Trapattoni. But
can you expect that, Liam?
Going down the road he's going down and playing the way we played, it's, you know, it gives a solid argument to what Richie's saying. I wouldn't agree with that he needs to go. I do think the players have a huge role in this.
OK, hang on a second now. We've got an interview with Trapattoni. He's talking to Tony O'Donoghue.
Kazakhstan are rated at 142 in the world. It's the sort of game we should be winning easily. In the Euros, we struggled against much better teams, but tonight we struggled as well. Why did that happen?
You couldn't read this situation 145, because also against Germany the first half was 0-0. there is no reason because we can also we was in the ranking 34. Now we are 19. Is not this the reason? I said
we're 26 now.
Yeah.
And that performance there from Ireland was without spirit.
Sure, yes. The first time it was not a spirit, was a stranger.
But why is that?
Why? I don't know. Because dopo ci siamo sbloccati.
Afterwards, we unblocked ourselves.
Yeah.
We lose it.
It was the first game, psychologically.
But it's a bit like the Euros in that regard, because you said we were frightened in the Euros. We looked even terrified there tonight.
European is other situation. That is the first game. After the 5 minutes, we were 1-0 for the opponent. It was blocked. We had a block.
Does that performance make you consider changing the tactic or changing the way we approach games?
No, I change. No, the approach obviously is important. We have after the goal, we have not a good reaction. But in second half, we have a good reaction, a good change.
But the scoreline suggested that you had to change. The tactic at the beginning seemed to be one-dimensional. Long ball.
You couldn't change. You couldn't change the players in the game. We achieved the results also with the long ball, with Keane, with the change was very, very important.
If people back in Ireland are watching this and are unhappy because of the way we played,
sure,
is there something that you can give them hope tonight?
Yes. Also me. I'm not happy. But today was a away game, the first game in the qualifier. I am happy because we achieved the result. And we have to habit again. We achieve again the habit to win the goal or our performance. Now in this moment is important only the result.
Did you consider at all since the Euros or even during that performance that you perhaps have brought this team as far as they can go?
I think this team can be again well, because also against Serbia, without 3 or 4 missing players, we play better. It was only friendly, but maybe this heavy result was psychologically very difficult. After nil, we could also.
Do you accept that you made mistakes tonight in the team you picked, considering in particular that Doyle saved you?
No, we changed. Yes, we changed. I said also, okay, when we see the game in England, we watch about the performance of the player. And this moment, the performance like Cox, also John Walters, was important. Now we change it. Abbiamo indovinato a change.
We got it right to change it.
It was fantastic. I said also in conference, we have a good change it in bench, important. In fact, they won the game.
Okay, Giovanni, well done with the result.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, the result is everything, he says. No change in his approach.
It was a worry, when you start your interview questioning the merits of Kazakhstan's world ranking. I think he's tried to make the point.
Well, I tell you what, to be fair to Kazakhstan, after what I've seen tonight, they'll give a few teams right difficulty over there. We'll have a little.
Listen to this comment. Listen to where we are. Listen to where now the bar is set with Irish football.
I'm telling you, they could take points from teams in our group.
Okay, fair enough. But what point do you want to make quickly?
How low
that Kazakhstan are rubbish and we should have beat them 4 or 5 and Giovanni should be sacked on the back of that.
Liam, let him
how
finish.
low expectations now are. We spoke about the lack of optimism among the supporters beforehand. We all said we weren't overly optimistic about qualifying. We're now putting forward an argument. The Kazakhstan, do you know what? They're not a bad side.
And you
Every manager's going to say that. Every manager's going to say that.
Final word from John.
I think it's actually nonsense, Richie, for Tony to talk about they are 142nd in the world and we're 26th.
Absolutely.
That's nonsense, because we've seen in the past there's no guarantee, no matter who you're playing against, regarding the ratings. If that was the case, we shouldn't even have to play the match. I thought that team was much better, likely better than we expected them to, and they might take points off somebody else. But that's besides the point. It's how we played ourselves.
And we played badly.
And we didn't play well.
All right, okay, we've got to leave it there. Before we go, a reminder of our special competition.